In late 2008, Hans Funk, Nettie Duick, Wanda Andrews, and Henry Bergen came to see me at the Mennonite Heritage Center Gallery in Winnipeg. They wanted to initiate a project that would honor their mothers and other women like them who brought their families out of Russia to safety and freedom in Canada. They wanted it to be a lasting tribute, something that would be around for a long time. We met on many occasions trying to decide exactly how we would work on this project. Eventually we decided that I would create a series of paintings. These paintings could tour, and after the tour was finished they could be installed somewhere permanently in Winnipeg. A lasting reminder of the stories of these women and others like them. We also want people to remember their own stories. We wanted to have stories be about women from different periods coming out of Russia. Hans, Nettie, Wanda, and Henry were all children during World War II who came out during the Great Trek in 1943 and then eventually came to Canada after the war. Many of the stories in the paintings are similar to those, and most of these women came out without husbands. There are also stories honoring women who led families out after the Revolution. We also wanted to remember those who came out earlier, and there's a painting of Judith Epp from Saskatchewan who came out in the 1800s. We also want to remember those people who did not get out. In 1943, during the Great Trek, 35,000 Mennonites tried to leave Russia. Only 12,000 ultimately succeeded. They need to be remembered and honored as well. Friends of the Mennonite Center in Ukraine sponsored a painting of Margarita Pankratz, someone who did not get out. As I was interviewing various families to come up with ideas for how to put these paintings together, paintings that are generally a collage of images that represent different periods in their lives and different portraits of their families, all trying to tell a story. When I went for these interviews, something that came up over and over again was how my mother was not angry. She didn't want anything back. She didn't want retribution. She didn't want her property back. She didn't want revenge. These stories came out over and over again. So we want also people to really see that when they see this exhibition, that when you take it as a whole, one of the things you're left with is that feeling that you want to remember thankfulness, faith, perseverance, love, even forgiveness. And these are people often who lost so much, and yet there was a sense of forgiveness in many of these stories. That's what should be remembered. When I think of a person like Tina Peters, someone who is represented in one of the paintings, she is a woman who lost absolutely everything. She is not someone who got her children out of Russia. She is the one exception in these paintings. She had 5 children in Russia. 3 died at a young age. Her husband was taken in the 1930s. He was murdered. In 1943, in the Great Trek, she left with her 2 sons. One was taken as they were fleeing. The other was taken when she got to Germany. She ended up in Canada completely alone. She had nothing. And yet her obituary, written by someone from her church in Yarrow, ends with, "For many years this beloved sister lived in Yarrow, where her loving, peaceful, and honest way of life was a blessing to many." That's incredible. I hope that as you see these paintings, you see the stories of these women, you see the strength and the courage and the faith, and you also remember the beauty of these stories. There's a lot of harshness, but there's also incredible beauty and incredible examples for us to remember and to honor.